Hi everyone, it's Claire back again. On my nails before I start is Zoya Mallory, and somebody asked me in a video a couple of weeks ago to go through my Barry M's, so I thought it'd be a good time to do an updated video of my current collection. And what I've done is I've already swatched them, so I've got polishes everywhere at the moment, but for video filming purposes, but they're my Barry M's, the 4 rows there. I think when I counted I've got like 32. So let's make a start on the Barry M's. So we're going to go with the top row first, which are the reds and pinks, shades that I don't grab for that often, but this one here I do. This is Chili, which is a beautiful like brick red brown shade, and it is here. Perfect autumn shade and great formula in 2 coats, so that's Chili. And the next one here is, I think, probably the brightest red that I've got. So if I'm reaching for a bright red, I would reach for this one, which isn't very often, but this is Passion Fruit. And again, fantastic formula in 2 coats. This one is a kind of satin matte, and it's a Superdrug limited edition. It's got this really pretty gold flash in there. This is called Festival Fever, and you can see that gold shimmer in there. If you put a top coat on, that would come up, you'd see that much more. Oh, I've messed up my money. I'm going to have to do some stamping over this. And the next one is a kind of coral pink. This is one of the coconut infusions, and this one is called Aloha. And not really my kind of shade, but I may destash this, so I'm going to be going through another big destash again in the spring, so yes, keep an eye out for this. The next one here is, I saw in a video today actually from Lisa. She did her autumn picks. Yeah, this was in her video, and it's the first Barry M that she's tried, and it's actually quite a good one. This is Raspberry, and it is a very pretty deep pinky raspberry red. And then we have these 2 here, which are quite similar, but this one, this one is called Fondant, and it's a little bit pinkier, and this one here is called Surfboard. It's one of the coconut infusions, and it's just a little bit more of a taupe shade to it. You can see a little bit more on the swatch wheel, although they probably look exactly the same, but this one is definitely more lilac, and this one has got a touch of taupe to it. So that's those ones. And then we move on to the greens, and I have quite a few. Most of the Barry M's that I've got I've either picked up in Boots or Nail Mail. Poundland, Pound World quite often have Barry M's, especially Poundland, and a couple of them, at least one, I think this one I got in a Me box. So let's have a look at these 2 first. This one here is just the Jelly High Shine, and it's Kiwi, and this one again is the Jelly High Shine, and this is Green Berry. I think we got Green Berry in the Me box. And yeah, terrible for the names rubbing off. I wish they just kept them on the bottom like this, but I don't know. But yes, this one here is Green Berry, and this one, which is more of that kind of Starbucks green, is Kiwi. This next one here is going to look blue in some lights, but this is the beautiful Sugar Apple. And I remember when I very first started on Instagram, I put a picture of Sugar Apple, and somebody contacted me from the States and said, do you know if there's any dupe for this in kind of mainstream that I can get hold of in the US, and I said, yeah, I'm sure there will be, I'll have a look for you. I couldn't find anything at all. It's just got this very delicate, it's almost like a pastel spearmint. Yeah, and I couldn't find anything like that. So if anybody knows of a dupe for Sugar Apple, please let us know. This next one is Cardamom, which I thought was easily available, but somebody had left a comment saying that this has been discontinued, which I was horrified at. So this is one of my favourite one coat khaki greens, and it's just beautiful. This next one is Catwalk Queen, and it's a full coverage teal green glitter, and I always think of Half when I pick this one up because I just think she would absolutely love this. I've said to her before, if you've got any relatives coming over, make sure if they're picking any Barry M up for you, they pick this one up. This next one is another coconut infusion, and I compared this recently with Mermaid's Tears, and this is Bikini. Beautiful greyed out green. And this next one here, I've put it in the green category because it's definitely got a green shift. It's a kind of teal blue shifts to green with a little bit of purple in there as well, but I couldn't, it's here anyway. I probably put this in completely the wrong category. This was sent to me by George, and it's the very pretty Pacific, which is one of the aquarium polishes. And I think it's actually the only aquarium that I've got. I destashed all of the others. So that's that one. And finally, I also included in this category the Crystal Glaze, which I've put here over Chili. And this is Barry M's version of that kind of opalescent flaky. Pretty good, not a bad job. So that is Crystal Glaze, and I think it's called, just Crystal Glaze. Okay, so now we move on to the next swatch wheel, which are blues, purples and neutrals and toppers. And we're going to have a look at the purples first. Or purples and blues. So we'll start with this one. This is one of the nail paints, which I think is probably an older line. And this is a very pretty vintage violet. It's just enough of a kind of taupe in here for it not to clash too much with my skin tone. But yeah, it's a beautiful, dark, plummy kind of muted shade. Really like this. One of my oldest Barry M's. This one here, the formula is so bad that I literally just had to kind of drop it on the swatch wheel and then spread it out. It's full coverage purple glitter, and it looks so pretty in the bottle, but it's a pig to work with. It's called Fashion Icon. I'll show you. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. So I am going to destash this one. I'm going to do this right now. So if anyone wants to try and rescue this, and you're in the UK and you're interested in Fashion Icon, let me know and I'll send that over to you. And this next one here is one of my favourite Barry M's. It's just a beautiful pastel blue with a very generous drop of grey, and it's called Elderberry. And that's this one here. Next one is this very pretty prickly pear, which I think is a lemming for Ilsa. I think so. I think this is one of her favourites that she wants to try. Well, she wants to try and get her hands on it, and I wish I could send it to her. But yeah, it's a very pretty. There's just something different about this. It's not just a lavender shade. There's a bit of grey to it as well. Very, very pretty. So that's Prickly Pear. And then we get to this one, which is kind of similar, a bit darker to what I'm wearing, and it's got a bit of a teal tone to it as well. And this is Blackberry, which isn't a blackberry shade, but that's the name. Great formula in 2 coats and a really deep dark blue. I'm thinking it may be a bit more like I Saw, You Saw, We Saw, Warsaw. I may keep this out and do a comparison, but that's Blackberry. Then we have the British Barry M version of Pacific Blue, which is Damson. And I've shown you this several times before, but it's just a gorgeous, bright, whited out blue. This next one is a matte turquoise, and this is an old one. This is called Malibu, and I don't think I've ever worn it. So I'm actually going to destash this one. It's a nice matte, and again, if anyone's interested in this, let me know. And the last one, I actually destashed this, and it's one of maybe 3, in all honesty, that ended up creeping back into my collection. I just saw it again after. I think it's called Laguna, I think. Can't remember what it's called. But yeah, there is something very special to this. It's kind of like a very bright periwinkle, but it's soft at the same time. So yeah, really like this one. So I can't remember what the name is. I think it was Laguna, but that could be something else. So yes, this crept back, so obviously it wanted to stay. Okay, so finally we've got the neutral shades and toppers and different finishes here. I've got 4 neutral type shades. This one here is a beautiful taupe. This was sent to me by Nika, and it's almond or almond. I always say almond. I think it's a silent L though. But anyway, that's it, and it's a really pretty all year round taupe. Yeah, great shade. The next one is a kind of coffee cream kind of colour, but it's very, it's kind of a bit of a Manny Hands type of shade for me. Although my skin tone is a little bit more pink. But this is another coconut infusion, and this is Sun-Kissed. And I don't know, it kind of tips a little bit when you see it in the bottle next to other taupes. I mean, it looks very similar to this one here, another coconut infusion, but it's considerably darker, and it does kind of feel as though it tips over into ugly pretty a little bit somehow. I don't know what I'm talking about there. But anyway, this is the next one. So that one there was Sun-Kissed, and this next one, which is the paler Skinny Dip from the Coconut Infusion collection. And it's a little bit like My Vampire is Buff. I'm pretty certain, although I get confused with the Clare, which comparisons I've already done. It's a little bit like that, and I think I have done a comparison before. But yeah, very pretty. Next one is, I love this one, and I picked this up not too long ago from Poundland, and it's a real surprise winner. This is Olive, and it is a very washed out, like pale pastel olive green, and I just love it. It's very ugly pretty. So those 3 definitely staying. And then we get this one here, which is a magnetic, and I really like it. I'd like magnetic polishes anyway, but this is one of those kind of dirty antique golds with a shimmer, and it's called Moon Dust. Yeah, and I really like it. So it's got, you can take the magnet off. In fact, I might do that and just put this in my nail art drawer, just so that aesthetically they all look better on the stand, and hope that I remember that it is actually a magnetic. So finally we get to the last 3. This one here is a pretty, you could sponge this on and I'm sure get this full coverage, but it's more of a glitter topper, and it's got blue, gold, purple, bright fuchsia pink in there, and it's very pretty. I think I picked this up in a kind of special offer at Christmas, and this is Masquerade. And then this one is very similar. It's the same kind of, I think it came from the same collection as Fashion Icon, but the formula is a little bit more workable, and it's a kind of gunmetal grey full coverage holographic glitter. And I've used quite a bit of this, as you can see. But, I mean, you use quite a bit anyway, just because the formulas are really thick. But this one is thick, but still workable. The other one, and it's not really my thing anyway. I don't know, it looks pretty in the bottle, but no. I'm going to keep this one and destash the purple one. And then finally, this is the most recent Barry M that I've picked up. No, Olive, I think, was the most recent one. This one is very similar to the Essence Outer Space Silver holographic, but it's got a little bit more, there are more flakes in there, and also you can see the holographic there. It's really quite strong. For a high street, you know, £3.99, £4.99 bottle of nail polish, this is pretty good. And it's just more densely packed, a little bit more shimmery as well as the hollow than the Essence. But I mean, I still love the Essence, but this one I was really, really impressed with. And it's called Holographic Lights. So that's the molten metal holographic silver from Barry M. And that is my collection. So I've decided that rather than waiting to spring, I'm going to destash these three. So Coconut Infusion Corally Pink, and this is called Aloha. I've not used it, so that's brand new. This one I have used quite a bit. It's probably down to about here, and it's not a turquoise, it's more of a mid-toned blue, but it's slightly more turquoise if you put it next to Damson. And yeah, I've just got far too many of this shade, and if I wanted a matte, I would put a matte top coat on, and this is the one that's just, I think there's probably down to about here, so if anyone's interested in trying to revive this one, yeah, please let me know if you're in the UK and you want any of these three. But that is my Barry M collection, so I've managed to get it down a little bit. At the moment, I've only got about 6 or 7 Zoyas, and I put them in the bottom row here, so maybe I can replace these three with some Zoyas that I'm interested in. But that's it for now. Let me know what your favourite Barry M's are, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!